Hello and welcome to this live class is it the 1st of November today? That's exciting. This is a Yin Yoga on the chair class. So the only prop you're going to need today is a chair. And I'm delighted to be connecting with you live. We have about just under 15 minutes before we will begin the class, just so we can connect and say hello to each other. So say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're connecting from so we can say hello to each other. Tim is here on the comments today. I'm here teaching the class, and he'll let me know who's here, and we can say hello. So Viviana's here. Hi, Viviana. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me know if you've done chair yoga before, if you're more of a chair yoga person, or if you're more of a yin yoga person, and how you're feeling about doing chair yoga today, or how you're feeling about yin yoga. We're combining the two today. This is an idea for me that was inspired by Katie Blecker. She's a friend of mine here. I live on Vancouver Island. She lives on the mainland in Vancouver. And it was an idea that she had, and I thought it was a great idea. So I asked her, is it all right if I teach it as a YouTube video? She posted it on her Instagram account. So be sure to go follow her on Instagram at Katie Blecker Yoga. She also does YouTube videos as well. So make sure you follow her on YouTube as well. She's a very talented Yin yoga teacher. She teaches very restorative styles of yoga as well. And Katie said, yeah, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what you teach. So thank you, Katie, for the inspiration for this class. I really appreciate it. We have one other chair yoga class on this channel. We have a chair yoga class in our membership community, and they're very well-loved classes. So Sherry Zach Morris was the one that did the other chair yoga video on this class, and those of you who do chair yoga will be well acquainted with her as well. So it's November the 1st here. We're coming into metal season in the northern hemisphere. It's autumn, and it's that time to be turning inward. It's a perfect time of year for yin. You might be noticing that your skin is getting drier, your nose is getting drier, your eyes are getting drier. You might be having respiratory issues. You might be getting more headaches. Your mind might be starting to race a little bit. You might be having some constipation, some trouble sleeping, and all of these are normal metal imbalances that happen at this time of year. And so, we're practicing we're choosing practices in our membership community to support the metal element. And particularly in November, we're going to be doing a metal element retreat with practices for your lung meridian system and your large intestine meridian system. And that's going to be on November 16th and 17th, a 2-day online retreat, which just really saves a lot of money. You don't have to travel anywhere, and it just makes it really accessible for a lot of people, and it will give you a taste of 5-element theory as well. If you haven't done the larger courses, many of our students have just finished the Earth Element course in the membership community. That was a 6-week course, a longer commitment. That's Tim's head coming into shot there. He's just setting up a recorder for the show. And say hi to Jen and Elka and Tatiana and Patrick. Hello, Jen and Elka, Tatiana and Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to be doing a yin yoga class on the chair, so you'll need a chair for today's class. The whole class is going to be done on the chair. So as I was saying, I'm super proud of our members who have just completed the Earth Element class of the 5-element theory. That's the element of late summer, and it was really beautiful to see our members. That Earth Element really brings people together, and it definitely brought our community together more closely. And it was really beautiful time to see them go through a lot of transformation. Those courses are a real deep dive and ask a lot of commitment from them. A lot of meditation practice, yoga practice. There's some time with poetry, some time in nature, and a big commitment daily, and also to each other. They support each other in their practices. So really proud of all of them for just completing that. And moving on to November now in our community and focusing on the lung, meridian, and organ system to support us in metal season. So, how is everything going for all of you today? Who has done chair yoga before, and who is more of a yin person? How do you feel about doing chair yoga? Yeah, let's say hello to some more people. Nice to see so many people showing up today. Thank you so much for coming.
Colleen from Ellsworth, Kansas.
Colleen from Kansas, hello.
Christine from New Mexico.
Christine from New Mexico, welcome.
I can't read their name, but they're from Myanmar and Burma.
Somebody from Myanmar and Burma, thank you for joining us. We can't read the text.
Yeah, Yogi Yu, of course, she's in Cape Breton.
Lucille in Cape Breton, thank you for joining us.
And what do we got here? You said Tatiana, Viviana, Patrick. Jen's in Alberta. Her back and SI joint makes it hard these days to work on again.
Yeah, Jen's in Alberta, so she's having back and SI joint issues. So this class should be pretty good. I'm glad she mentioned that because then I can give some modifications and cues for that as well. Yeah.
Anita from California.
Hi, Anita from California.
That's pretty much it right now. People are coming in. You've got about 25 people watching right now.
Fabulous. Really good turnout today. It's really nice to see everybody.
Alka says, Jen is in France. She says hello.
Hello, Jen.
Alka says she thinks she prefers yin on a mat or on bed, but she's used chairs as a prop for certain poses.
Yeah. So one of the things I think many of us who practice yin love the floor, right? Because you can just lie down and release so much tension into the ground. And I'm curious how we'll find using the chair today, because chair is often considered a prop for, I think there's a perception or a belief that the chair is a prop for an aging population or populations that can't get onto the floor. And so I'm hoping that we can open up our mindset or have a different mindset about, there are actually times in the day that we use chairs, that we are in chairs, unless you happen to be a person that lives in a home with no furniture, which many people do as well. So if that's you, then this class really is of no use. But most people do have, it's true, some people live in homes with no furniture, and if that's the case, then...
Connie says hi.
Hi, Connie.
And Sil in the Netherlands.
Hi, Sil in the Netherlands.
And Carolyn from Wisconsin, my first chair yoga.
Hi, Carolyn, her first chair yoga.
Connie says she'll modify the forward folds.
Oh, good. Connie's going to modify the forward folds. Yeah.
Valeria says, long time no see.
Long time no see, Valeria. Yeah. So as I was saying, if you're a human being, there are a lot of times that we are in chairs. And so my intention in this class is, what would it be like to bring the principles of yin to the times that we spend in chairs? Because I don't know about you, but even though I just love that time we spend on the ground in yin, where we can just release so much tension, there are a lot of times in my day when I spend on a chair, and those times tend to be times when a lot of tension gathers, when I tend to rush, like basically all the principles of yin just kind of go out the window. So where I maybe don't necessarily choose an appropriate edge, where that principle of stillness doesn't come in, where that principle of softening doesn't come in, and where it's difficult for me to have that principle of staying for a while. This staying for a while, I would think of that in opposition to trying to rush to get through things. And so my hope is that we can bring those principles of yin, or that mindset, to the times that we're in chairs. Because I don't know about you, but those things tend to go out the window for me when I'm in chairs. I tend to rush, gather tension, the softness, the stillness tends to go away. And that's something that really interests me. In fact, one of the things that I have as an aspiration and intention is to teach hopefully a course in the new year around yin, something I haven't quite figured out the wording around it, but bringing the principles of yin to meditation. So a yin meditation kind of course for my members, where we really take a deep dive into those principles of yin from the perspective of meditation. I am definitely going to need a drink of water before I start. I'm just noticing how dry I am. My voice is getting really raspy. Yeah. So thank you. That's really kind of you.
Oh, it's not water. Thanks, Maggie.
Okay. That tea is cold.
Oh, do you want a tea?
No, I'll have water because the tea will just be cold. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's not hot.
Okay.
So before we start, I'll count it. Before we get going here.
Should we say hi to a few more people before we start and then get started?
Cosmic Hamsters is here, my favorite YouTuber name.
Yeah.
Ken Franklin says it's a good mindset change.
Yeah, I think it's a good mindset change, Jen. I think that it's, for me at least, I think it's going to be useful.
You've never considered making peace with the chair instead of just saying it's bad to sit too much.
Right. So Jen said it's that mindset change of making peace with the chair versus having that judgment that it's bad to sit too much, right? What if we just had that mindset change? And we tend to have it, like, I know I can be very judgmental. So instead of being like, oh, sitting on a chair is bad and I have to do this and I should do this and I should be on the floor, what if we embraced this piece of furniture and made peace with it instead, like Jen's saying? That's a very good point of view.
Christine is recovering from spinal compression fractures a year ago.
Whew.
She's quite interested in chair yoga.
So Christine's recovering from spinal compression fractures. So I'm curious, Christine, does that mean it's difficult for you to lie on the ground then? I don't know much about that. So let me know in the comments. That's really...
And Ronald, say hello to Ronald as well, new to the live presentation.
Hi, Ronald. Welcome. Yeah, it's nice to have you here live.
So we've got over 30 people now.
Wonderful. So good to have a nice full class.
So what we'll do is
Get started.
we'll get started. So action in 3.
Hold on, I really need to have a good drink of water before I get started. Otherwise, they're going to have smoky rasper Melissa.
Hello from Italy, from Valentina.
Hi, Valentina.
Elke says I've heard this saying, they say sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah, see, sitting is new smoking. So look at all these judgments we have around the chair. So what if we put those aside today and brought a more compassionate mindset to this chair? Like, I bet you a lot of people, I just commend all of you for being here, because I bet you a lot of people won't even try this class who normally do yoga. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Are you ready to start?
Yeah, give me a sec. Sorry to have a diva moment, but I just need to gather my thoughts a little bit. You guys are all giving me so much to reflect on and think about it, and I want to bring that into the class. I really see, as a teacher, I learned so much from all of you, so I really appreciate that, and you're making the class so much richer. Thank you. You're laughing at me. You're not letting me pull. Okay, hold on. I need to pull myself together. Okay.
Action in 3, in 2.
Today we're going to do a Yin Yoga class on a chair. Hi, I'm Melissa from Yoga with Melissa, and today's Yin Yoga class is going to be on a chair. This is a perfect prop for you, especially if it's difficult for you to get down onto the floor or if you don't have space to practice on a floor. So if you're traveling or you're just in a small space. But I've just had an amazing conversation with all the people that are practicing this class live right now about how we tend to have a lot of judgment around practicing in a chair even, and this can open up our mindset around there are things like sitting is the new smoking, and also the right way to do yoga is to get down onto the floor. And so and I also talked about how the times that I tend to spend in a chair are often times when I work, and then I get into these more aggressive mindsets where I rush and tension builds into my body. So just taking this time in our chairs and gathering that very yin mindset I think will be very valuable. So whether you normally practice on a chair or you don't, I'm really hoping that this class is going to be valuable for all of you. If you are new here, welcome. I do hope that you will check out the other classes on this channel. I teach a lot of more restorative styles of yoga, Yin Yoga, restorative, and also Yoga Nidra, which is a style of sleep yoga, which is a guided meditation style. So I would encourage you to check those out. I'd love to have you as a subscriber on our channel. And if you're a returning student, I really appreciate you coming back. I appreciate your loyalty. A lot of you who are live here are returning students. I appreciate your presence here. And I also really appreciate your open-mindedness to try a chair yoga class today. So, as I said, the only prop that you're going to need today is the chair. That's what we're going to be using.
You can say hello to some of the new people as they're coming in.
We'll just get right into the class. And so what we're going to do now, we'll have time to talk at the end of the class. If you're joining us live, Tim is here manning your comments, and you can say hello to him in the comments. And at the end of the class, we'll take all your questions and comments. We're just going to stay in the experience of the class now so we can really gather the chi, gather that yin energy that's just so wonderful. We'll, instead of coming up and out into the comments, we'll stay down and in our body through the whole yin class now. That's okay. So let's start with centering with some sitting meditation, because this is a yin and meditation class. So I want you to feel your feet flat on the floor, your pelvis on the chair, lengthen up through your spine, through the back of your neck, open up through the backs of your ears, the back of your head, the crown of your head. Let there be space between your teeth. Allow your tongue to float in your mouth, and let your elbows sit under your shoulders. This is a yin class, so we'll have that more inward energy. Let your palms be face down on your lap. And you can just let your pelvis rock forward and back here until you feel that sense of coming into your own center. Deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out of your mouth. And allow yourself to arrive in your body. The sensations in your body and the connection with the earth. Soften your throat. Soften your heart center. Soften your belly. And any tension that you're feeling in your legs, you can open to that tension. Feeling any tension in your body. Just offering it non-abandoning attention and seeing what happens. Staying open through the back of your neck. When your mind wanders, as it will wander, minds think, so that's what they do. There's nothing wrong with that. But today we will continually give our minds something to focus on, so you can bring it back to the sensations of your feet on the ground here. Okay, so we're going to move into our first yin posture now, which is going to be a pigeon or a keyhole. So for this posture, you're going to cross your left leg over your right leg. So cross your left leg over your right leg, open your knee out to the side. And you want to feel sensation on the outside of your left leg and into your glutes. This might be enough here. Or you can lean forward until you feel sensation. So really going to focus on the principles of yin here. And the first principle is to choose the appropriate edge. So you want something between comfort and challenge here. So from challenge comes change, and from comfort comes ease. And we don't want too much challenge, because too much challenge makes us broken and depleted, and it makes us feel not good enough. But we also don't want too much comfort, because it allows us to become passive and complacent and fragile. When we put too much stress in a yin posture, it becomes challenging to stay in the shapes, and we become tense and anxious, and then we fight our restrictions, and it's a recipe for exhaustion. But if we're too comfortable, then we're going to lose our interest and our focus is going to fade. So we want to find that middle way where there's just enough tension, just enough experience, just the appropriate edge here. And everybody's shape is going to look different depending on their experience. You will look different from me. We're going to stay in our own experience, no compare and despair. And when you find yourself caught up in thinking, come back to the sensations in your body, feeling the sensations in the outer thigh, in the buttocks, staying connected with your breath as it comes in and out of your body, and feeling your feet, your foot on the ground. Okay, we're going to slowly release this pose from this side of our body. Come back to the center and just feel the way the chi, the energy is circulating through our body now from doing this pose on the side. So just come inward, feel how your body's been transformed, how you're different, the way energy is circulating now. And then we'll cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. Remembering this side could be different here. And on this side, we will still stay with the focus on the middle way. So you may be leaning forward, you may not. Remembering that that middle way is going to help you to develop resilience. When you choose that appropriate edge, not too much and not too little. So for those of you who don't normally do chair yoga, you may start to notice the way that tension habitually starts to gather when you sit in a chair. So breathe into those parts of your body as you're in the seated pigeon pose here, or seated swan as it's called in Yin. So maybe your neck and your shoulders, into the tension that's gathering in those places. Letting that tension drop down through your torso, through your buttocks, down through your left leg, and down through your foot. So just imagine it sliding down through your body, releasing kind of like a waterfall, or like water rolling over a stone in a river, or like warm water melting ice. Continue to check in on your teeth. Let them be parted. Let your tongue continue to float in your mouth. Stay open through the back of your neck. Stay long through your spine. Remember that there's always some yang in yin and yin in yang. So while this is a yin class, when you're sitting in a chair, that requires some yang energy. It requires you to gather the yang energy to sit appropriately so that your body can have that ease. So you have to gather the yangness of your skeleton so that your muscles can have ease in your body, so that they don't have to overwork. Going to release this pose on this side of your body and just pause in the center here and feel that flow of chi through your body. Okay, so now you're going to turn on your chair so the right side of your torso is facing the back of your chair. And we're going to do a twist. So with your feet flat on the floor, your spine long, you're going to turn from the base of your spine and you're just going to hold on to the back of your chair here. So you still want to be choosing that appropriate edge. So maybe you're not going to turn all the way. You're going to turn in a way that feels appropriate for you. Or you can turn more. So whatever works for you in your body today. And you want to we'll stay long through our spines here. So the second principle of yin is to be still. So in yin, we want the chi, the energy to pool in the joints and the bones and the meridians of the body. And in yoga, often in many forms of yoga, we're affecting the muscles. And so in order to affect the muscles, you want to keep them moving. That keeps the energy up at the surface level of the muscles. But in order to get down into the joints and the bones, we need to be still. So that means when we come into the pose, we don't fidget, we don't try to come deeper into the pose. There might be a point where there's a kind of relaxation and you just sink more deeply into the pose, and that's okay. We don't back out of the pose unless there's sharp shooting pain or electric feeling. We just stay in the pose. So we invite in that sense of stillness. So the stillness in our body can invite stillness in our minds as well. And this is something that's often, I think this is what I was talking about at the beginning, that can be quite counterintuitive when we're in a chair, at least for me. I don't know, we can talk about this afterwards, but often when I'm in a chair, it's because I'm working and I'm often rushing to finish my work. And so this idea of inviting stillness in, or connecting with the chair as a place of stillness, seems valuable to me. Okay, we're going to come back to the center and just pause here for a moment. Feel the flow of chi in your body. And then we'll turn the other way on our chair and we'll do this pose on the other side. So staying tall on your chair. Left side is facing the chair. Lengthen up through your spine and rotating. And we'll stay with that principle of being still and just inviting in a different habit from fidgeting and moving and that constant forward momentum that we're encouraged to have in our culture, to try and always do more and be more, and to just know that the edge that you've chosen is appropriate. So for those of you who mentioned at the beginning that you have some fragility in your back or with the SI joint, it can be appropriate here to draw in a little bit of yang energy to lift up through the pelvic floor and draw your navel back to support there. So although we're still in this pose, you'll notice there's always movement in stillness. That's the yang and the yin and the yin and the yang. So the yin is the stillness. The yang in the yin is the movement in the stillness. So you'll notice that your breath creates movement in this pose. So we're never completely still, even though we're inviting in stillness. So here, open up to the movement that exists in this stillness here. Feeling the breath in the lungs. Notice how it's different because you're in a twisted pose. So no need to exaggerate it or make it shift it or change it, but just invite your awareness to follow your breath in this twisted posture. You slowly release this side from your body and come back to the center. And just feel the flow of chi through your body. And then we're going to do our next posture. Okay, this one, if you have back issues, it's a forward fold. So for those people, I'm going to give an option here. I'm going to give the option of doing a lunge pose instead, so you can turn sideways on your chair and open up here and open up the front of your hip instead. Okay? That's your option here in the pose. Otherwise, we're going to do half dragonfly. Yeah. So extend your right leg out. You're going to keep your left leg bent. And you're just going to fold forward until you feel sensation on the back of your leg here. So in this pose, we're going to focus on the principle of staying for a while. And in Yin, we stay for a while in order to coax the chi deeper into the body and organs. This has a profound healing effect. So it nourishes the meridians, and it helps to get into the connective tissue, the bones, and the joints. I always use the example of if you go to acupuncture, they don't just put the needle in and take it out again. So we stay to coax the chi into the meridian pathways and the deeper connective tissues that wrap around the joints and bones. So they're more dense and they're less pliant than muscle. And we need the long-held traction to coax the chi and blood in and through these tissues. So slowly come up. Going to sit upright. We'll pause here in the center. Just feel the flow of chi. Notice how you feel after this pose. We'll do the other side. So lengthen the left leg out. Keep the right leg bent this time. The option is to do the lunge pose on the other side. So open up the back hip. Really helps to sit forward on the chair for this. Keep a slight bend in your knee, in your extended leg. You want to feel sensation along the back of the leg. So it can definitely be challenging in a yin class to stay for a while in a pose. In our culture, our minds are constantly trained to move from thing to thing to thing. And so in yin classes, we are training our mind to stay with the sensations in our bodies, to stay with our breath. And it's a slow and developmental process. So it's okay that it takes us, it's okay that we're building the muscle to, so each time your mind travels and you feel that urge to move away, that it feels difficult, it's okay, you come back and you are strengthening that muscle to stay each time, and that's a valuable process. Feel the sensation along the back of your left leg. Feel your right foot on the ground. Feel the back of your left heel on the ground, and stay connected with your breathing. And breathe more into your low back here because your belly is compressed in this pose. Okay, you're slowly going to come out of the pose here, and we'll come back to a seated position and just feel the flow of chi in your body. Notice how your energy is shifting from the beginning of the class. So qualities of yin are softer, they're more internally focused, they're more grounded, they're quieter. So notice if these qualities are becoming more apparent in your own being as well. So the next yin pose is called Dangling. It's not one that I usually teach because it's one that usually requires us to stand up, and it's not something I usually like to do in a yin class. It's a forward fold, but it's a bent-legged forward fold. So it's an okay one if you have back issues, but I'll leave that to your own discretion if you have back issues and whatever your physiotherapist has told you, and go with your own experience and what feels right in your own body. If you need an alternative to a forward fold, if you have back issues, then you can always come into a back bend here, hold on to the back of the chair and come into a back bend for this final posture that we're going to do before we take another meditation to close out the class. For dangling, just open your legs wide and you're just going to hang forward here. And the idea is really you're just going to dangle here. So the final principle of yin that I want to focus on here is to soften. So in order to get past the muscles, we cannot be muscling in a pose. When we soften, we access the deeper connective tissues of the joints and the bones. So in this pose, I encourage you to relax and let gravity help you to go further. And so we're really not going to use our muscles to go further. In this pose, it's really easy to let that happen. So let yourself release into the shape. Let the back of your neck be long. Let the crown of your head drop to the floor. And just let everything dangle and let go. Release into the shape of this posture. So this relaxes the muscles around the connective tissue that you're attempting to influence. And just continually ask yourself, can I consciously encourage an ungripping in the pose? So very, very slowly you're going to come back up to upright. You've been hanging for a while, so your blood is all in your head. So you want to make this transition slow. Okay, and then we'll just pause here. Allow the blood to flow back into our bodies. Feel the flow of chi. Feel the blood flowing back into your body. And we'll close out our session today with a seated meditation. So feel your feet flat on the floor. Feel your pelvis on your seat. Lengthen up through your spine, through the back of your neck. Open up through the backs of your ears and the back of your head. Feel the crown of your head opening. Let there be space between your teeth. Let your tongue float in your mouth. Soften your throat. Soften your heart. Let your elbows be directly under your shoulders, not too far forward, not too far back. Palms will face down for the yin class, for that inward focused energy. And then just rocking slightly forward and slightly back. If anybody's watching you from the outside, they probably wouldn't even see that movement until you find that place of feeling centered. And you can do side to side as well. And then find that place of stillness. Feeling the connection to the earth and your body, a sense of spaciousness and openness. Notice how you feel different now from the beginning of the class. If you feel different from the beginning of the class, there's no right or wrong or better, best answer here. Just notice how you're feeling. And follow your breath. Be in your body. Feel the earth under your feet. As you're sitting in meditation, I usually finish my classes with a poem. So I have a poem for you here. It's called Down Here by Ada Limon. The dog does this beautiful thing. It waits. It stills itself and determines that the waiting is essential. The dog does this beautiful thing. It waits. It stills itself and determines that the waiting is essential. The waiting is essential. I suppose this eternity is the one inside the drawer, inside the buttonhole. I suppose this eternity is the one inside the drawer, inside the buttonhole. All the shouting before was done out loud on the street, and now it's done so shushingly. There is a saying down here I'd never heard before. I hate it for you. It means if the dog pees on the carpet, I hate it for you. too bad for you. It means if you're alone when love is all around, we all tip our lonely hats in one unlonely sound. So if you are new to Yin Yoga, I want to acknowledge you for trying Yin Yoga today. And if you are new to Chair Yoga, I want to acknowledge you for trying Chair Yoga today. Having that open mind is really something probably quite unique in our culture, and it makes a big difference if you can meet a yoga practice with that level of open-mindedness. It means that we can meet each other with that level of open-mindedness too. So the way that I close out our practices is with a moving mudra series, with your left palm up and your right palm down. And we'll gather in the fruits of our practice, first to ourselves and then offer them out into the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Which means may all beings be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. So that moving mudra series is available. How to do it on my second channel. It's in a post called My Favorite Mudra Books, and the closing series on the Yoga with Melissa channel. And that moving mudra series has inspired me to put together some moving mudra series for our members. And I don't even think our members know this yet, but there are 2 new classes in our community right now. One is a moving mudra series for letting go, which is very appropriate for autumn and metal season that I was talking about before we started this class. And the other moving mudra series is for integration at the end of a yoga class. If you had a very powerful experience and something is standing out to you about it and you want to be able to really take it in and pull the wisdom away from it more deeply, then that integration, meditation, and moving mudra series is very powerful. And they're both in, if you go to the video library, Yoga Styles Mudras, it's in that section there for you. And if you're not already a member, we'd love to welcome you in. We're also having a 2-day retreat in November for the metal element, which is going to be really great. I want to thank Viola, Paul, Ruth, Paige, Jane, Maura, Cornelia, Donna, Sharon, Sean, and Melissa for your donations. It's been a while since we recorded a class or did a live class, so there's a lot of you to thank for donations. Right now we're saving up just for a few extra things to make our trip to California in January a little more compact. We've got to get all of our gear really compact to be able to do that travel with it. So thank you for that. Thank you all so much for joining us for this class. And connect after with the people who are live here. I'm sending you so much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be as strong as our mountains. And may you be as rooted as the old growth trees in our forest. Om Shanti. Namaste. And just one more thing, if you're new here and new to Chair Yoga, new to Yin Yoga, we have lots of other offerings here on our channel, and we'd love to have you as a subscriber, and definitely check those out. Namaste. So we have some time too for those of you who are with us live. I would love to know how that experience was for you. I know most of you don't usually practice Chair Yoga. So, any questions about Chair Yoga, any insights or awarenesses? Oftentimes in our membership community, I ask people to give me a 1-word check-in when they're done. So if there's one word that you have that would encapsulate that experience, it would be good to know about that, about the Chair Yoga, especially if you don't usually do Chair Yoga, how the yin was on the chair. So Christine, thank you. Christine and Connie, thank you for being with us as well. We appreciate your presence here. It's always great to connect with you guys live on yoga on the YouTube channel here to do some live classes. But I think we'll do a couple more before the year's over.
Maybe next one we can get, there's 43 people on at the same time.
Yeah, that's nice. We had a really, really big class today. Thank you all so much for coming. It's a nice time of year, right? Not so many people outside in the summer and stuff, so it's a good time of year to do live classes.
We have a question if you've got time.
Yeah, so there's a question.
Yeah, Randy asks, is there an alternative to crossing the leg over the knee? It seemed to be my only fallback, just put the foot up the shin as far as possible.
Yeah, crossing the leg over the knee, because it was,
Randy.
yeah. Was it a knee issue? So, alternative to crossing the leg over the knee. Ask her if it was a knee issue. Okay. Ask him or her if it was a knee issue. It's a good question. In the chair, if there's an alternative to that. External rotation. I'm going to have to think on that. I may have to ask some of my yin teacher friends on that one too. Stump me on that one, Randy. Good question. How to get into that. Usually I just change the orientation, not the movement. So.
Cosmic Cancer says he's going to incorporate the first two poses into her day.
Yeah, I love that, Fiona. Thank you.
And Viviana enjoyed the class.
I'm glad you enjoyed the class, Viviana. Yeah, this is, I think the neat thing about this chair yoga class is that, you know, the idea of the sitting is the new smoking, that somebody coined that phrase. It's not necessarily that sitting is the new smoking. Even if you have a stand-up desk, if you're just standing very still, that the thing that is detrimental to your health about it is it's just the not moving. So if you can just take some time when you've got periods of sitting to do things like the twist, and if this seated pigeon is accessible for you to do that, then you're moving while you're sitting. The best thing is to get up and move around, of course. But sometimes just even taking that moment to do a little twist, to do a little side bend, to get the blood moving is really useful. To do a little bit of a back bend. These are useful things. It's the not moving. Katie Bowman talks about that because that sitting is the new smoking. When that came out, that was almost 5 years ago, that headline. She is the first person to not advocate sitting, but to really look at these kind of headlines and question them too is important. So, yeah. More questions or comments? Yeah.
We've got, Alka says 2 words, most relaxing.
Alka found it most relaxing, and I think Alka was not quite sure about the chair class too. So, yeah, I think it's good to question our assumptions sometimes and try new things. So, Alka, I am proud of you. Thank you for opening up to something new and different. And I know it was helpful for me to put aside that I know that sitting on a chair can be uncomfortable and tension inducing, and so to really mindfully be in a chair and have a different experience is important too, right? Because otherwise I know I can habitually get into that same pattern every time I'm in a chair, right? I'm in a chair, and then the experience of the chair is always going to be tension-ridden and exhausting. So Connie said she enjoyed it very much. Jen said it was really good. Randy said she loved being able to center again. Thanks for the inspiration. Renata, hi Renata, good to see you. She said it was a perfect start to November. She loved it. Yeah, nice way to start November. Can you guys believe it's almost the end of 2019? I'm just like, that's blowing my mind. It's kind of crazy, right? Gail's word was release. Connie said stillness is a practice in an all in itself, and I agree completely. I'm really inspired to put together a practice around building meditation and a course around the principles of yin that we can take into our daily life and meditation. I think that's going to be really great. Tatiana said she was she found the class very interesting and she enjoyed it. Her word was to be centered. Randy said it's knee and hip issues. Randy, I am definitely going to get back to you on that. Randy's been a long time student, so I will get back to you on that. I'm going to have to talk to some of my friends about that. You've stumped me on that one. It's a good one. It's a good question. Oops. Let's see. I feel like I lost a bunch of them, but okay. Deborah said she learned to change a feeling that sitting can be different, a different experience. So that's great. You and me, we both got that. Simone said she loved the class and she feels open and in inner peace. Yeah, Leslie said for pigeon, you can use the seat of another chair on which to lay your leg. So yeah, I agree with that. So you could put the leg up here on another chair, but then you still got in external rotation, which may be the problem, right? It might not be that. So the question is, I think the question more might be, how do you get into the abductors and glutes, not necessarily. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to follow up on this question. Might be. Yeah. That's a nice alternative. With chair yoga, it's really cool because, as Leslie's saying, it's a good idea, Leslie. You can put another chair in, right? You don't have to limit yourself to using one chair. I love that idea, Leslie. But I'm wondering if the issue is external rotation, and that's causing the issue with the hips and the knee. Caroline said new ways to do yoga and waiting rooms, airports, which is, yeah, I love that. Yeah, because it's true. You can just kind of inconspicuously throw in a few poses and you don't have to lie down on nasty rugs and stuff. Simone wanted some hands-on assists in the twist. Wouldn't it be great to have our little yoga hands-on assist person around all the time? Ronald said he learned a lot. And Christiane says her word is balance. Yeah, and Randy said the issue is the external rotation. So, Randy, I will get back to you on that. And everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I really appreciated all the comments afterwards and the questions. It's always a joy to connect with you in this way. And I hope you have a great rest of your first day of November. And I will see you next time. You guys still have some more classes from the Attention Economy series, and we'll be doing some more live classes. And then our next series I'm super excited about was inspired by a member, Kirsty. We're going to be doing a series on perfectionism. I know none of you struggle with that. But I think it's going to be a great perfectionism, and then the next series is going to be on burnout, which will come. So perfectionism will come like as we head into the holiday season in November, December, and then burnout will come right after the holiday season in January. So I think the timing will be great for all of those. So give the video a thumbs up if you're looking forward to those series, and I think they're going to be well received. Okay. Have a great rest of your day and welcome November, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Namaste.